So this is definitely not a tutorial. It's more of a live recording of me just making something random. I kind of want to start doing, a poster every week at least, and just experimenting and having fun. And this is the documentation of a kind of a crazy random process. Shout out to Display Typefaces. That's Offform, the big, awesome display font. Go buy it, check it out. So I forgot to record the beginning of the video, but this is the general starting point. I got this idea of putting a paper over a dove and then kind of taking a photo of that, and then it gave me this kind of cool blurred effect after I did a bunch of levels work to it. I definitely forgot to do the recording at the beginning, but you can kind of get the idea here. Playing with some gradient crap. And then I really wanted to have some text, and I didn't know where to start because this isn't like a music poster and it doesn't have any actual context. So I went into my Evernote where I leave I have a lot of journaling and little random interview snippets. And this is maybe like a journal entry about, it's all about the energy and that people bring to the table. And I just sort of latched onto those words and needed something to kind of make it typographic. Playing with some blurring, trying to make it a little bit more, ingrained in the piece, giving it some texture. This is a photo from a party I went to. I wanted to get a little texture there, but it really did not work. And this is my girlfriend in front of these flowers drawn on the wall by an artist. So I ripped those off because I wanted something sketchy, but I didn't want to actually bust out my paper and do something myself. I wanted like a different kind of style here. The whole reason I started making these posters at all was because I have a lot of client work that keeps me busy, and it kind of is the reason that I get on the computer and actually open these programs to work. But I'm realizing that I need an individual practice and I need a reason to experiment and learn new shit on my own. So I've been trying to, every day or definitely at least once a week create something. And I've always seen people's stuff that I think is really cool, but I always wish I could watch how they did it and just followed along with some of the random, decisions they made to get to the place that they did. And I think that's what this video really is for. It's not a tutorial because I feel like this is kind of hard to teach because there's little composition decisions happening, but mainly this exercise is really any sort of idea I have, I'm following it, and I'm digging through found material that I have, and that's sparking new ideas. And then like that flower, I took it off a wall, but then I blurred it, and then I thresholded it, and then I flattened the layer like 3 times so it got fatter and kind of more spray paint looking. And those big black bars behind the text kind of were inspired by, taking a picture with it highlighted, and I thought, well, why don't I just take a screenshot of it and try to emulate that same effect. And here I'm looking I want like a kind of a sequence, like a photo sequence. So I actually downloaded a GIF, or I found a GIF of a dove flying. And then I went to a website called Gif Exploder, where it breaks out all the frames into individual pictures. And then you can download, skipping, every other one. I downloaded the ones I wanted, so it sort of gave me this flying sequence that I was able to put in. And I've seen a lot of stuff. I've saved a lot of stuff on my mood boards or on Are.na of sequences and like repetition. And I think that was a theme that I wanted to try to throw in here. So doing these poster experiments, really it's just a place to, unleash some of those ideas and some of those things you saved because you think they're so cool, but a client project won't really allow you to use some of those things. So I think that this is an outlet for me to make those sort of ideas or techniques come to fruition, and I can play with them and sort of deconstruct them and actually understand, like, how did someone get there, And here's a texture of like a gross piece of wood that I saw that, this is kind of Baraglio inspired. I'm like, I'm going to take this texture and do something cool with it, and I had no clue what I was doing and where it was going to live. I was going to make it like a pattern, like a band on the bottom with some texture. I was going to live in there as like a cool texture background thing. And then I ended up putting it here, and I blurred it a shit ton, and it sort of lined up with the bird wing and made it look like it was like an aggressive flapping. So I sort of liked it there. I left it there, and I would never sketch that idea out. It's really just the act of creating the poster in Photoshop sort of created new ideas for myself. And I think that now that I'm doing this, I'm realizing how powerful of a tool playing around like this is. And here I am, I think I am masking off the black and white bird to show the original bird in the background. So it's kind of getting this little strip of brown back there that I like. I remember all the way, I'm trying to add some texture here to the bird sequence, but then I think here I'm looking for some sort of sketchy note to bring a little bit more texture, like kind of like the top graphic over there. I have like a little bar chart or a quadrant chart from a note in my photos. I ended up just using the pencil tool and just scribbling a little bit down there to add a little texture. And here I'm really trying to get I'm trying to roughen about the energy text because I thought it looked a little too vector. I'm also eating Ben & Jerry's ice cream while I'm doing this, so really enjoying myself. So I have these things called, it's a True Grit. Is it True Grit Distress Press is a pack that I have, and it has an action in Photoshop that actually, roughens your text and sort of makes it look more printed, but it was a little too extreme, so I tried to dial it down. I tried to back it off, and here I'm thinking that I need more text. It's a poster, I should put more text, and I end up kind of backing off that idea. Trying to play with some of the colors and just see what feels right. And I think I was definitely, the poster is very black and white at this moment, and I think I was trying to see if it needed color or how it would live to be a little bit more, have more of a color palette. What am I doing here? I inverted the original poster, and now I'm masking out pieces to bring this. I've been kind of addicted to this effect lately because I think it's a pretty interesting effect. But you make your poster and then you duplicate it, send it to the back, and then invert it, and you mask out sections of it to bring these inverted pieces to the front, and it gives it this almost X-ray type of effect. Nice. Yeah, I think that I definitely just wanted to, for me, I don't really give myself room to play a lot of the times. So being able to experiment like this, I'm learning way more things than I ever thought I would. Giving myself the opportunity, it always seems silly. Why would I make a poster? What would I make a poster about if it didn't have any context, or if it wasn't for an actual client? And what's the driving factor to actually get that thing done? And now that I'm making posters for fun, I'm realizing that there's so much you can learn. So here is the finished poster, and I merged the layers down. Now it's a flat image, and I'm using the hue and saturation adjustment to just make these drastic changes and colorize the poster to see if there's a version that I like more. And it's also kind of getting more like destroyed and roughened as I'm like applying all these filters and saving it and stuff. So in the end, the poster actually changed quite a bit because I didn't like those black bars in the back. So I made them just gray, or I inverted them and kind of flipped them around so they had more pop off the background. And then I'll put the final poster at the end here again. I've saved a few of those fun alternatives, but in the end, I really liked the one with the big brown square with the black text on it. So here's the final image, and the whole thing really stemmed from putting the piece of paper over my computer screen when I was looking for images and realizing that blurred effect was cool. It was kind of cooler than anything I could actually create in Photoshop with like the layers and the filters and the textures that I know about. So it really became the focal point and like the jumping off point for the whole thing. And I really want to do a lot more of they're kind of a stream of consciousness design, and I'm following all these avenues, and I'm not really looking at too much reference. I'm really just having fun bouncing around from idea to idea, and I'm getting a lot less afraid of just shitting on the whole thing and merging a layer and then putting that over something else and then throwing it away and start trying a new idea. I'm trying to throw away some of the the safe habits that I've built up over the years and really just learn to have fun and experiment and play with the thing and kind of see where your creative brain can go if you actually, aren't making this for anybody and there's no feedback you're really looking for. Well, thanks, y'all. Hope you enjoyed.